Was for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to all the witnesses here today. Just for clarification for everyone, this is a ArriveCAN impact study on Canada. So not what it would look like going forward, but what the impact has been on Canadian businesses, on Canadian families, on Canadian workers. That's what this study is all about. So I'm going to stick on those line of questionings, Madam Chair. And I got to say, I'm really proud to be sitting here surrounded by the MP for Niagara, who represents an incredibly busy border crossing, and the MP from Sarnia, who represents an incredibly border crossing, of course, her neighbor as well, that MP, and then, of course, myself, which is right down at the busiest international border crossing in North America in Windsor. And so, perhaps if, to Mr. Bachrach's statement about those that called for scrap the app, well, guilty as charged, because my office was absolutely inundated with phone calls from businesses, from folks trying to get across, from nurses, from doctors that literally had glitches, had to spend time in quarantine for no reason other than the failed app itself. So if it means fighting for people to have some normality in their life, then I'm proud to have done that. So my first question through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Boudreau, as well as to Ms. Pasher. Last week at committee, we heard from the CBSA officers and, from the union, and they said that, in fact, it completely slowed down people crossing at the border. Would each of you please give us some background to that? And before you do, and I'll probably only have time for 2 questions, I think it's important for me to say one more time, just so that you both know, a story I said last week. And long story short is, a business came in with 4 folks on a private plane. They sat on the apron in Windsor for 2.5 hours because one of the 4 folks had a glitch in their app, not by their own fault. They stayed on their plane and they left and took their business with them. So I would love to hear from both witnesses, please, through you, Madam Chair, about why they believe that this app will actually help.
Sure, Ms. Pasher, maybe I can go first, and sure, if you want to go next.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, MP Lewis. It's important to recognize we represent the air mode, and the land border is significantly different than the air border. I'm not an expert in the land border, so I'll leave it to my comments just to the air border. When it comes to the air border, folks are used to filing declarations, are used to doing paperwork, are used to using technology to get through the border process. Like I said in my last answer, we haven't had enough time since the federal restrictions were lifted on October 1st to see a material or to measure rather a difference in processing time. But again, we've seen in other jurisdictions where those similar travel measures were removed, the requirement to submit health information and vaccine verification. We see certainly an increase.
Thank you, sir.
Customs processing.
Thank you very much, sir. Ms. Pasher, please.
I'd just like to echo that same point about, the differentiation of the land border and the air border, because the measures really are different. So I think in terms of the air border, our view is that, if we didn't have the ArriveCAN application, we would have been doing all of this manually, and it would have been taking a lot more time. So we did, because of the health measures that were in place and because the government had mandated this, we actually did need some technology application in order to process people. So I think that would be our view in terms of it was needed at the air border because of the pandemic restrictions.
Thank you to both the witnesses. I have 50 seconds left. Through you, Madam Chair, to Mayor Diodati, our mayor in Windsor, Mayor Dilkins, was equally as adamant to get our borders back to some type of normalcy as you were, sir. And just like our casino and our tourism area, been completely gut punched. 30 seconds, Mr. Diodati. So do you feel that the ArriveCAN specifically contributed to this decline more so than the vaccination status?
That's a tough one. Both of them were very detrimental to our border, and I did spend a lot of time on the phone with Mayor Dilkins. It was devastating to us. And for us at land border crossings, it was horrible. It made the delays 4 times as long, and there was much less congestion. So it was absolutely the problem.